In this installment, we're going to be going over the Thursday night football matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for our Thursday night football showdown slate between the Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers. But before I deep dive into this bottom feeder battle that we got going on Thursday, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. I'm going to touch on that very, very soon. But right now, we are on the homepage. Right now, our subscriber total is 1.46 thousand subscribers. Continue to smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're viewing this channel, you're not currently a subscriber, why don't you do free support? Hit that subscribe button right this instant. All right. Now, going on over to the Patreon, I'm going to reiterate that, guys. We dominated Sunday. We had winning bets. Only had one wrong on that whole entire slate on Sunday. That includes the Chiefs came through, Saints, Packers, Browns, Commanders. All those came through. The only team that did not come through for us were the Giants. And then Sunday night football, we came through with the Bengals. The only blemish was Monday night. I did have the Jets +3. All right. So we did have a little blemish on that one. But guess what? We're going to bounce back for Thursday night football. So if you want those selections, yet again, go to that link provided down below for the Patreon. All right. Kicking things off before we get to the captain, you already know the drill. We're going to talk about the injury report, and the injury report is a big laundry list for the Carolina Panthers. A lot of issues here. We have Brian Burns, their top pass rusher. He has 2 DNPs. He's most likely not going to play in this game. We're going to see what happens on Wednesday, but he has 2 DNPs in a row. DJ Shark, who's a big X factor there at wide receiver. They're going to be down to some scraps there because they're missing 2 guys from that wide receiver position, DJ Shark and Laviska Shenault. Both of those guys have back-to-back DNPs. We'll see what happens Wednesday. Starting corner CJ Henderson is in concussion protocol. Can he get through on Wednesday? I doubt it on a short week. Steven Sullivan, tight end, he's not really much of a factor. We have Luigi Villon, linebacker, 2 DNPs as well. And then Xavier Woods, free safety, 2 DNPs in a row. So right now we're waiting on a lot of news on a lot of guys here, but they're all trending towards being out. So that's going to be down to some bare bones, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If there's no DJ Shark, no Laviska Shenault, then that's going to be Terrace Marshall Jr. That's going to be Adam Thielen getting the ball a little bit more. And maybe we see a little bit more upside here from that tight end position as well, just to note. All right, so all these other guys are going to be cleared. Now going over to the Chicago Bears side, there's not much of a problem here injury-wise. Kyrie Blessingame is pretty much a fullback. He's not much of a factor. He has 2 DNPs in a row. Nate Davis is a starting O-lineman. He has 2 DNPs. We'll see what happens to him on Wednesday. And then Tremaine Edmonds, who they got in free agency, has 2 DNPs. But the positive here is Justin Fields. We have 2 limited practices. Right now, he's trending towards playing. We will see, and we're going to check in the notes if we get some more information there when we talk about these captains, all right? And then last but not least, Terrell Smith has 2 DNPs with an illness. So we're going to wait what happens to him on a Wednesday. That can be a little bit of an X factor there going up against. Well, it's kind of even because we got a lot of injuries on that wide receiver side of the ball for the Carolina Panthers as well. Let's get into the captain plays. Let's kick things off at that captain position. And we got a lot of ways to go here in this game. And we have a we got 2 guys in a revenge narrative. So I'm going to start with those 2 guys as my favorite captain plays. Number 1, revenge narrative. We have DJ Moore finally with his brand new team here, Chicago Bears. At least this team is giving him the football, and he's had big games already so far this season, bigger games than he's ever had in his entire career. He already has 735 yards, so far this season and coming into week 10, all right? So if Justin Fields comes back, it's only going to bode well for DJ Moore. We've seen big upside games against Washington with 52 fantasy points, against Denver with 30, and against Tampa Bay with 19.4. So that upside of DJ Moore is there. He hasn't scored a touchdown since week 5. I expect him to get in the end zone in this particular game here, going up against his previous team here in the Carolina Panthers that really just threw him into the trade to go get Bryce Young. It's not looking too good right now because CJ Stroud is on absolute fire. And now DJ Moore is going up against his former team where they definitely just threw him away and didn't need to add him into the trade. But hey, DJ Moore is going to be one of our top plays in a revenge narrative going up against the Carolina Panthers. All right, it's not a sneaky play at all, but hey, definitely want to take advantage of it. Highly motivated. And if Justin Fields is going to play, you know he's going to throw to his number 1 target, all right? The next guy we're going to be looking at as a captain play is going to be D'Onta Foreman. Another revenge game. Last year, D'Onta Foreman had some huge games against the Carolina Panthers, and he's already had some huge games this year. He had in week 7 against the Raiders, 33 fantasy points. That game, he scored 3 touchdowns in that one. This guy has a lot of upside, and he's getting the majority of carries right now. Khalil Herbert is expected to play. Let me double check that for you just to make sure. Nope. Did they activate him? Let's read the blurb, all right? So he was a full participant in practice on Tuesday. So I expect him to get his touches, all right? This is going to be a 3-headed monster here, but since this is his first game back, I will concede to D'Onta Foreman getting the bulk of the carries out of all 3 of these guys. They got D'Onta Foreman, they have Khalil Herbert, who's coming back from injury, first game, and they have Roschon Johnson. Those are going to be the 3 main guys. I'm not afraid of going towards D'Onta Foreman. This very ugly slate. It's not a lot of guys to go towards. D'Onta Foreman can have some upside here in this game because you're looking at the Carolina Panthers run defense. They are one of the worst teams against the run in the league. Second worst in the league, allowing 27.4 fantasy points to opposing running backs. So that's going to bode well for the former Panther here in D'Onta Foreman. So those are going to be the 2 captains we're going to be looking at. Let's continue down the list. Adam Thielen is just a target monster. Had a little bit of a down game against the Indianapolis Colts. Bryce Young struggled against that secondary, throwing 3 interceptions. But hey, we've seen upside, we've seen value going towards Adam Thielen in this offense. And with all the injuries to that wide receiver core, then Adam Thielen is going to have to be leaned upon just a little bit more here. So that's 6 targets. I expect that to go right back to where it was in the previous 3 games, 11, 13, and 13. He's going to have to rely upon his veteran here in Adam Thielen to get some cheap catches here. Be a little a watered-down version of a Keenan Allen here. That's what Adam Thielen brings to the table, a reliable wide receiver here for Bryce Young, who's a very, very young quarterback and still developing. Now, another captain play can be Justin Fields, but we're going to wait on news, all right? Both are viable. Badgett has upside to rush the football, and Justin Fields obviously as well. If Justin Fields is back, then we can go back to that well because the Carolina Panthers defense has been very porous. And if they're without Brian Burns and no pressure getting to Justin Fields, that is a big, big question mark. So Justin Fields is in. We're going to be going towards him as a captain play. And if he is out, you can consider Badgett as a captain play, but more likely of a flex play there. So because we want to take advantage of DJ Moore, D'Onta Foreman, and maybe we find some other gems down below. All right. Now, on the other side of the Carolina Panthers, there's one more captain play I can consider here, and that will be Chuba Hubbard. All right, Chuba Hubbard has taken over the reins of the backfield here, and this is another good matchup on both sides of the football. Panthers struggle against the run, and so do the Chicago Bears. Right now, Chicago Bears are the 8th best matchup when you are a running back, allowing 21.6 fantasy points per game, and Chuba Hubbard is getting work rushing the football, double-digit attempts, and receiving the football as well. So 2 sides there. He can get you nice cheap value, get you 10 to 15 fantasy points. That's what you want, and he can definitely provide that in this matchup going up against the Chicago Bears. In this one, we do not trust Miles Sanders. He has been absolutely putrid this whole entire season. All right, now let's move on to the flex plays. On to the flex plays. The first guy we're going to be looking at on this list here will be Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is going to be the number 2 wide receiver here. Obviously, the focus of the offense for the Chicago Bears is going to be DJ Moore. Maybe we get some cheap catches here for Darnell Mooney, who did have a solid game against the New Orleans Saints, 5 for 82. He does have some upside. He's your speedster, deep ball threat. He can take one catch and take it all the way to the house. That's what you're leaning on here if you decide to play Darnell Mooney. So he can be considered in this pool here. Cole Kmet has been on fire right now. The last past 2 games, 23.5 and 17.9. This has been where Badgen has been really throwing him and feeding him the football here. 10 of 79 and then 6 of 55 with 2 touchdowns against the Saints. So if Badgen is back, then we can bump up Cole Kmet here as one of our main plays as a flex. Maybe you want to throw him in as a captain if Badgen is in. If Fields is in instead, obviously he does have that upside still. I was just a little bit more intrigued with Cole Kmet because Badgen a little bit limited at quarterback, and he really has a nice connection here with Cole Kmet. 18 targets the last past 2 games as he started, while Fields has been out. All right, so Badgen is in, bump up Cole Kmet. If Fields is back, then he just becomes a regular flex play. Hopefully he can get in the end zone. All right, let's continue going down this list. The next play we're going to be going towards, I think this is a sneaky play here. All right, Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is going to be my sneaky tight end play. Forgotten about guy because he is getting a little bit less snaps than Tommy Tremble. But here, Hayden Hurst is the better tight end, more complete tight end, veteran tight end here. Hayden Hurst has some upside in this game with all the injuries to the wide receivers. No Laviska Shenault, no DJ Shark. They're going to need to rely on more of a veteran type player here, and that's going to be Hayden Hurst because it's Adam Thielen. Terrace Marshall Jr. has been very up and down for his whole, mostly down his whole entire career. And they got a lot of wide receiver 4s left on this roster here. Hayden Hurst is at least a guy that you can rely upon. Had some big games with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. So I like him as a very sneaky play at this current salary here. Not a lot of people are going to be going towards Hayden Hurst on this slate. All right. Now, kickers and defenses. Kickers are going to be definitely viable on both sides. I don't expect much offense from both of these 2 teams here, especially if you have struggling QB play from Bryce Young. Technically, this is a very good matchup for Bryce Young, but he continues to get good matchups, but continues to falter. We've been games where he's had multiple interceptions against Detroit and the Indianapolis Colts here. And now he's missing multiple wide receivers here. He's going to have limited weapons. That's not going to bode well going up against the Chicago defense at home, okay? So Bryce Young is strictly a bottom level flex play here, but I definitely do have to mention him, all right? We're waiting on a confirmation on DJ Shark if he's going to be in or out. He's a non-participant the last past 2 days. Bears defense we can't consider because we have all the trials and tribulations that we've seen from Bryce Young already. He gave up 2 touchdowns to the defense of the Colts last week, and the Bears are going to be chomping at the bit at home here where they can possibly have a good game because they have big home road splits. For the Bears defense, they play way better at home, allowing 110 less yards a game as well. So they're averaging 7 fantasy points a game at home, 2.6 fantasy points on the road. So that's going to be very good here for that Bears defense. They feed off that home crowd here. We're not going to play Panthers defense with all those injuries. Roschon Johnson is someone we can consider. He's going to get a handful of targets and carries depending on how this game flow goes. They're kind of going with the hot hand here. They'll start out with Donta Foreman. Obviously, they're going to go and give you some Roschon Johnson as well. And then they want to work in Khalil Herbert just a tad. So, obviously, if we're doing the pecking order of running backs, Foreman is at the top. I'm going to have Roshan Johnson second, and then Khalil Herbert as a number 3, all right? Now, with all the injuries to that wide receiver core of the Carolina Panthers, some of these guys are going to have to step up, and they can be flex plays here. Jonathan Mingo he's going to have to step up in this one. The rookie wide receiver, we can expect him to get more snaps and hopefully take advantages of his opportunity on the field as well. He has not impressed at all this year and doesn't even have a touchdown as well yet. But if we're looking desperate at a flex play at the bottom, Jonathan Mingo is going to be on the list. Other guys, as we continue to go down here when we get cheaper and cheaper, Terrace Marshall Jr., I prefer him over Mingo. If we're doing a pecking order of wide receivers, I would go Adam Thielen, Hayden Hurst, and then Terrace Marshall. I like Terrace Marshall way more than Jonathan Mingo in this offense, especially if DJ Shark is going to be out. He has some upside out of LSU. We know what he did in college. He just hasn't really gotten opportunities here, but when he did, he took advantage of it. In week 3, 8 targets, 35 yards on 5 catches. Against Minnesota, 9 catches, 10 targets, 56. So we see some reliability here. We see a little bit of a connection here with Terrace Marshall Jr. and Bryce Young. He just hasn't had the opportunity. That's going to be our favorite punt play of the slate. That's going to be Terrace Marshall at the price of $400. That's the cheapest we're going to go. If you really want to punt at flex, you could pay up very high and then just feed in Terrace Marshall. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities in this game here, going up against Chicago with all those injuries. All right, so the 3 main players that we're going to have in each and every one of our lineups. Number 1 will be DJ Moore. All right, number 2, we're going to bring it back. Am I going to get a little contrarian here? Number 2 will be Chuba Hubbard, because both defenses here, both run defenses struggle. I like Chuba Hubbard because he can provide upside here. I feel like they're going to use him a lot in the receiving game as well. And then the number 3 option here is going to be Adam Thielen. All right. So we got DJ Moore, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen, and then the 4th guy we could throw in. We're waiting on news on that QB. I hope Fields is back. Then I want to play him a lot. If not, then we can go towards Bajan here. He has upside rushing that football as well. He had, 70 yards rushing, 80 yards rushing last game? He had 70 yards rushing, so he is not shy to create out of that pocket, and that's going to be a good dynamic to bring going up against this hampered defense here in the Carolina Panthers, all right? Hey, and don't forget about Donta Foreman, all right? So, DJ Moore, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen, Donta Foreman, and we're going to wait on news on that quarterback position here. So I'm filling out most of this lineup. Do consider kickers as well, because this is not going to be a high-scoring game, all right? Definitely don't forget about that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video very soon, all right? Peace out, guys.